والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل التفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما. اللهم ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to Him, and peace and blessings be upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger. So, now, direct to the point. 101, 102. Not physics and math. Okay? Okay? 101, I mean verse 101. The book of Allah was revealed to this group of scholars from the children of Israel. فَنَبَذُوهُ وَرَاءَ ظُهُورِهِمْ وَاتَّبَعُوا. Now we have the focal and the full focus today is وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ وَمَا كَفَرُ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَى الْمَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِلَ هاروت وماروت إلى آخر الآية. Now, this ayah has a lot of controversial misconceptions mixed. So I will do my best to break down into simple details, and I hope and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help me to be of some help, not to leave this place, but enjoying understanding the beauty of the Quran through understanding this ayah. Now, please focus with me. فَنَبَذُوهُ وَرَاءَ ظُهُورِهِمْ كَأَنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. Now, another time. نَبَذُوهُ وَرَاءَ ظُهُورِهِمْ. Keyword number 1. Keyword number 2. I will speak in English now. I mean the verses. وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. Keyword number 2. وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ. Keyword number 3. Okay? Focus. So we need to know what does it mean, نَبَذُوهُ. Instead, they went to follow what has been said, spread in the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam. Pause. Key number 3. Be aware, Sulaiman has not committed the kufr. But, key number 4. Shayateen kafaru. Okay? Key number 4. Ash-shayateen kafaru. Satans have committed the kufr. Why? How? By. Key number 5. يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ plus what has been sent to the Malakai. وَمَا, we have يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. Satans, they have committed the kufr by teaching magic. Period. وَمَا, in addition to, plus the thing that has been sent to the 2 angels in Babel. Okay? Now, key number 6. Harut wa Marut. Or ببابل هاروت وماروت. Key number 7. وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقولا إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر فيتعلمون منهم ما يفرقون. Then those 2 supposedly angels, or as many people think that this is the meaning, they were teaching the magic in Babylon. Why, when, how, we will see now. Let's go back to the context. Now we are in the context of some of the characteristics of a group of the children of Israel at the time of the revelation of the Quran. True or false? Part of what happened, a group of the scholars of them, they received the book of Allah. So part of what they did, نَبَذُوهُ وَرَاءَ, they rejected. Throw it, to their back, which means they rejected. Okay, Instead, they did what? Followed what has been said, spread at the time of Sulaiman. Pause. When we go to the narrations and the context, we need to understand the following. Now, Allah told us in other verses, the Quran is a constitution and it's full of information. We know for sure that Sulaiman and Dawood, both of them, they were from the great prophets of the children of Israel. We know that for sure because Allah told us. Okay, and they came after Musa alayhi salam. I mean not after immediately, but they are from the prophets who came between Musa alayhi salam and Isa alayhi salam. Okay? Pause. We do not have a historical record for the time they were ruling. However, historically, not in our Sharia, not in our Quran, not in our Sunnah, but in the Bible, which means we put a question mark, but just to have an idea about what others are claiming. They lived in 2700 BC. Sulaiman and Dawood. 2700 BC. Sorry. From now, 2700 years. From now, 2700 years. Okay? Which means they were, on average, about 800 years after Musa alayhi salam. Because Musa alayhi salam, more or less historically, not Quran and Sunnah. When I say historically, it's claimed in some resources such as the Bible. For us, it's not an authentic source. So when I mention, I need to let you know. I'm not claiming and we don't believe in this number. However, this is the only claim that we have. This only possible claim, okay, suggests that Musa alayhi salam lived around 3,500 years from now. Musa alayhi salam, okay? So, 2,700 from now, which means about 800 after that, Sulaiman and Dawood. It is claimed historically, Sulaiman and Dawood, they lived 70 years, 40, 30, 30, 40, altogether. Now, this is history. What we are sure and part of our aqidah, that Dawood and Sulaiman, they were given something, really the word amazing is not applicable because they are much more than incredible and amazing. الجبال يسبحن والطير ألنا له الحديد الطير صافات. This is for Dawood alayhi salam. It's amazing. He used to play with the iron like the clay. Sulaiman alayhi salam, it's beyond our imagination. Wallahi billahi tallahi. Unless Allah is the one who's telling us in the Quran, we would not have believed. I mean, when someone tells you 2,700 years, someone was flying using the wind, the speed of what you use for a month in 1 hour. Which means in our terminology now, he was a high supersonic airplane. Do you believe? Scientifically, what will you say? Haji, what kind of you are using? This is what we say. But how come? We believe that Allah enabled Sulaiman as salam. We believe, because Allah told us, by the way, if we said Sulaiman was not doing that, we are committing kufr. So we know. Sulaiman as salam was speaking with birds and hasharat, you know. He was able to hear what an ant was speaking with the kingdom of ants. Like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we know, plus, now I need to know this context to tell you, because this is aqidah for us. We believe in that. Now part of what Allah told us, that Allah sakhar al-jinn. He was able to control part of the jinn from the high classes and the normal classes. How? I don't know. We don't know. Allah did not tell us. He gave us some information. يَعْمَلُونَ لَهُ مَا يَشَاءُ مِن مَحَارِيبَ وَتَمَاثِيلَ وَكُلَّ بَنَّاءٍ وَغَوَّاصٍ. Now, according to the Quran, they were working similar to be like slave workers under His commandment. What was the power, the means, the tool? We have no. Allah enabled him. I don't care about the how. Allah did not tell us He was holding a stick. It has like a gray, for example, light, laser light. He was saying Adraba Kadabra, boom, like this thing, the jinn. Forget, this is just in Harry Potter, you see it, okay? Or in Hollywood, or in Bollywood, in India. I mean, our mind should not be busy in such these things. We believe that Allah enabled Sulaiman as-salam. He was controlling them and they were enslaved under His commandments. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَسَخَّرْنَا. They were under His commandments. So we know for sure that the jinn, or part of them, with different classes, because what do I mean by classes? Because the jinn, they are classes like us. Now, we have a very strong men and we have very weak men. We have some men with their size, their power and their muscles, they can kill someone in one punch. And we have men, they hardly can kill an insect. I mean, am I exaggerating? We have weak and we are strong. We have the same thing the jinn, they have. Because Allah mentioned, قَالَ عِفْرِيتٌ مِنَ الْجِنِّ. Now the word ifrit, it describes like a class of a very powerful jinni, like a normal jinni. Anyway, so from this we know that the jinn, the Satans, the devil, okay? And by the way, when I say the jinn, pause. We human beings, we are from the descendant of Adam alayhi salam. Our father is Adam. His proper name is Adam. He is the source of the humanity. We are the children of Adam. Iblis is the proper name of Satan, ash-shaytan. Satan, ash-shaytan is a title, but if it's used with what we call the article, al-ta'rif, if it's mentioned, we are talking about Iblis. However, the word shaytan, okay, is used for Satan's jinn and human beings. Dalil, shayateen al-insi wal-jinni yuhi ba'duhum ila ba'din zukhruf al-qawli ghurura. So Allah used the word shaitan to describe a group of human beings and jinn. So shaitan is a descriptive title. But if in Arabic we say إذا أطلق, which means if it's used with al-ta'rif, ash-shaytan, without restricting it with any kind of restrictions, it means Iblis. Unless if I'm talking about a specific person. For example, when I say Stalin, he is ash-shaytan. Hitler, he is ash-shaytan. Okay, I'm talking about specific person using the article about this specific person. Now, Adam, human beings, Iblis, the jinn, ash-shayateen. Okay? Now, Sulaiman alayhi salam was controlling part of the jinn, which is the shayateen. So when we use shayateen or jinn, we are talking about the same, but this is their proper, their names as an ethnicity, okay? And this is their titles as a job description, okay? So, now we need to know this context. Pause, let's move to another narrations. Some of the narrations, it said that part of what was spread by some of the children of Israel against Sulaiman alayhi salam after his death. Lahdo, be careful. Sulaiman alayhi salam, 2,700 years from now, which means from time of a prophet, 1,300 years. Okay? From Jesus Christ, 700 years. So, look to their timeline. 700 years or 1,300 years, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came. This 1,300 years, part of what was spread among some of the children of Israel, falsely, okay? Rumors, lies against Sulaiman alayhi salam, the following. The lies against him. That Sulaiman was able to control the jinn using the magic, which was not the case. Simply, he was able. By the way, I have not come yet to explain what magic is, okay? But let's imagine that this is magic. This is magic, okay? We will give the definition of this just in a few minutes. So it was claimed falsely that Sulaiman ﷺ was using the magic to control the jinn. 1,300 years, some evil, bad people made this false or this lie like a reason to spread the magic. Yes. Controlling the people, he was a claim. So, when Quran came, and we need to know the following. Quran came to fix many misconceptions, such as the original sin. You know what I mean by original sin? When original sin is mentioned, we mean what? Yeah. Do you know the original sin is the core and the backbone of Christianity? Do you know this? We need to tell you about the fixing misconception. In the Bible, Eve ate from the tree they call the apple. For us, we don't say it, we just tree. She was in charge of taking the initiative. Then she convinced her man, i.e. Adam. Okay? So, in Christianity, it is believed that humanity inherited the sin. The sin of... For Christians believe God's plan was to release us, we human beings, from the original inherited sin. Therefore, He sent His only begotten Son, okay, Jesus Christ, God's incarnate or incarnation, to be crossed on the cross so that anyone believes in God's crucifixion in the cross through the embodiment, incarnation with Jesus Christ, will be saved from the original sin. Okay? This is part of Christianity. Pause. Quran came to fix this misconception by simple few verses. فَوَسْوَسَ لَهُمَا الشَّيْطَانُ فَأَكَلَا dual minha. Finito. Finished. Shaitan whispered for both of them. Both of them ate. Both of them hold responsibility. The amazing beauty of Islam addressed Adam to hold more responsibility. وَعَصَى آدَمُ. You want to have the قوامة? تفضل تحمل المسؤولية بقى. Get my point? You want to be the man? Because really, as a man, you have to hold responsibility. Or otherwise, why do you have the rights just by a word you make divorce? Because you're created in a way that you must hold the biggest responsibility. So تفضل وعصى آدم. I'm giving you an example about how practically humanity might be suffering for ages and centuries of a misconception. Quran comes to fix it. Okay? Let's go back to our story. For hundreds of years, Sulaiman, peace be upon him, alayhi salam, was accused that he was what? Using magic, and he committed kufr, and he was a kafir, alayhi salam, and he was controlling the people around him, including Jews and everything through magic. So Allah came to purify his reputation in this ayah. Number one. So, Allah is telling us they rejected, they followed what has been spread in his time. So we understand by this that in his time, magic was what? Already part of the culture. Another pause. When magic started, we can assume from the verses much, you go back in the history. Still, I have not explained what magic is. But this magic used to be taught and spread long time ago. But one of the historical records about this, Musa alayhi salam, 300, 500, what was the biggest weapon and tool Pharaoh used against him? وَابْعَثْ فِي الْمَدَائِنِ حَاشِرِينَ يَأْتُوكَ بِكُلِّ سَحَّارٍ عَلِيمٍ. 3,500 years from now, more or less, it was like a consensus, part of the basic culture in Egypt, based on using magic. Because when Pharaoh was not inventing a new science in Egypt to use it against Pharaoh, because he said, وَبْعَثْ, send everywhere, bring the very powerful, knowledgeable magicians, which means it's what? A tradition. So Allah knows. Now, Babel was mentioned just a few words later. Harut wa Marut in Babel. Let me give you just an idea about Babel, then I come back and then I connect things together. Babel, historically known, it's part of Iraq. Now, it is believed by some that it is the oldest city was built by human beings in the history of humanity. We don't have Quran reference or Sunnah reference, but we have biblical reference, Old Testament reference from the book of Genesis. In book of Genesis, still, we don't believe in that. We don't use it as a basic, authentic piece of information, but it's the historical, it's claimed in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, that the people at the very beginning of their creation, after Adam and Noah, they were traveling east and west. I'm quoting more or less 70% from the Old Testament book of Genesis. Okay? They were traveling east and west, and they stopped by a place, and they decided to build a tower so that they can, climb this big tower to see God. Then God decided to destroy them according to the Arabic and English translation of the Bible. فَبَلْبَلَهُمُ الرَّبُّ. God punished people after building this tower. This is a biblical narration, not a Quranic, okay? We don't believe in it. And it contains a lot of something against Islamic faith. But I'm just quoting what is claimed there. The word Babel, first mentioned in the Old Testament as the place of the first city, and they were a rebellious people against God. They built like a tower so that they can see God or challenge God. So God, قال exactly like this, قال فَبَلْبَلَهُمُ الرَّبُّ من هناك بلبلهم بمعنى ضربهم وعاقبهم فانتشروا بالأرض وأصبحت لهم ألسنة مختلفين. According to the Bible, the word Babel came from بلبلة, which means they were heads, they were spread, they were became segments and groups. After that, they used to have just one language. After this punishment, they started having different language. By the way, this is not our faith. We do not accept it as faith. We have no idea, and I will not comment, but I'm just telling you what is claimed in the Old Testament. Now, what I need from this, it is claimed that the first city forever humanity did what was Babel. If this claim has some kind of possibility, I can understand when Allah said مَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِلَ هَارُوتَ وَمَارُوتَ connected with magic. If this claim. Now, Quran tells us that in the city of Babel, which we know that it's very old. Historically, we can say 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, we don't know. If we take just the smell of the possibility from the Bible, so magic is very, very old. But who invented the magic? Shayateen. But what is the magic? I will tell you now. Okay? But let's fix the first misconception. Sulaiman was not using magic. Sulaiman did not commit kufr. Finished? According to the Quran. Now, طيب. ولكن الشياطين كفروا يعلمون الناس السحر. Plus ما أنزل على الملكين ببابل. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stating clearly that Satan started teaching, which means it's something totable, which means it's knowledge. It's knowledge. It's something I can record, I can tell you, and I can teach you. If you are taught this piece of knowledge, you can use it. Because يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. So sihr is something that can be taught and used. Okay? طيب. What is the sihr? Another pause now. In a very simple way, I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide me to make it easy for you. Now the word sihr, it's used for more than one meaning. One of the normal usage, which is not meant in our discussion, ما يسمى الخدع السحرية or الحيل السحرية or the magic tricks. This is out of our discussion, okay? Metaphorically, magic tricks, like when you know the magician brings the hat, there's a rabbit, or when you go to the TikTok now, you find the Starbucks large, medium, small, the same amount of liquid, large, medium, small, the same liquid, because you follow that. It's a magical trick. Inside it, it's filled with a filling with 50% of the whatever. So this is called magical tricks. I mean, we are not discussing this now. Magic is knowledge, science. By the way, we don't know what magic is. But this thing that we don't know what is very dangerous. It's used to harm the people, and if you want to educate yourself about it, there is a very basic precondition. Do you know what is it? You have to commit kufr. I'm not joking. The first step to be able to take the license, G1, to be allowed to sit in the car with a trained full G driver, you have to commit kufr to be allowed to join the club. It's a condition. It was invented by Satans, and they will not then by humans. On top of them, a group of the people of the book, okay, and became like an exclusive club. All of them they agreed upon. Basic condition: we must be sure that you have committed kufr. Tafaddal, we will teach you the steps. Otherwise, you are an outsider. Who's ready to pay the price? Are you with me? Wait. I will give you some simple examples about this. طيب. Now, number one, magic is a ilm. It is totable, so dangerous, it's harmful, basically invented by Satans. It's taught by Sahara, by magicians. All of them for sure. It's impossible to find a magician who is a believer, because he will not be able to be a magician unless making sure that he committed the kufr. Simple example. Now, have you heard about mafia? Yeah, I mean, worldwide, for example, Italian mafia, Russian mafia, whatever, Irish mafia, we always mafia. One of the most well-known jobs historically for political mafia, the political assassinations. True or false? It's highly well known that, for example, the most famous, maybe the Italian mafia, especially, Irish, Italian, Russian mafias, especially they were very famous in New York City about 100 years ago, 90 years ago, 80 years ago. Now my point, they are very famous when you watch the movies, they were very famous in political assassinations, the اغتيالات السياسية. Do we know how exactly they make it? Okay, if you want to know, you need to join. To join a mafia, you have to be official, professional murderer. True or false? You must be a criminal. You will not, if you are a good citizen, you will not be given admission. Mafia means criminals by default. Political assassination means you have to be a professional, skilled killer. Because their job is to commit crimes, drugs, something, human trafficking, bombing, killing, blah, 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 etc. So how come you will be a member in the mafia and to enjoy the power? By the way, do they have power? Yes. Can they do many things we can't do? Yes. Can they access many things we can't access? Yes. I'm just giving you an idea about the jinn, sahara and sihr. But what they do, they have their own ways. How they manage to get to the room of the president of X country to kill him. Long, big experience, I don't know. How they buy people, I don't know. How they transmit the money, I don't know. And I don't want to know. Because if I know, it means I'm part of them. Or they will get rid of me. Are you with me? So this is from one angle, just to know. How come you say yes? Many things you don't know. طيب, another question. Is it possible that Allah allows something very dangerous to be invented by a group of His creation and allows them to... How come? Simply, did Allah allow humanity to create nuclear bombs? Harmful? Hiroshima, Nagasaki, atomic bomb, still babies. Now we have nuclear bombs. Full city with 20 million citizens. I will not tell you they will be killed. They will evaporate in less than a second. You know, nuclear bombs. We will disappear. We will evaporate like the steam of the water in a second. 20 millions by a nuclear bomb. Like, is this harmful or not harmful? Is it true that a group of people on earth, they have the knowledge and the power to make this and they have already made it or not? Like you are, who are listening to me, is there anyone of you knows how to make a nuclear bomb? If you want to know,
Google it.
Google it. It's impossible, you can't. I mean, to know this powerful piece of knowledge, you need a lot of things to be there. Even with you reach there, it's not something easy. I'm just giving you examples about how a composed, edited, collected piece of knowledge, information, science, call it whatever you want, could be seriously harmful and controlled by a group of people. Like another example, hackers through the internet. Do they exist?
Yes.
Like, is it possible that some of them, they can attack even big intelligence forces like the FBI and CIA? Yes. Some of them might succeed practically. Yes. But how many of you can attack government and you can really access any data whenever you want? Please raise up your hand. To be able to do it.
I am able to do it, I won't tell you.
Even if some people know it, it's not easy to transfer this knowledge to anyone. Even when someone is having part of this power and it's used in a good way, it's called ethical hacking. Which means we have a group of people, because most of the hackers, they are bad people, most of them. They hack our information, they attack our privacy, they get into the simple level, laptops or emails or simple level. High level, banks, our money, governments, our something. So it's so serious, so dangerous, so powerful. Just little people on earth, they know it. True or false? Fine. Some people, they know it to protect themselves or their governments or their places. We call it ethical hacking. Now, using the ethical hacking, I will tell you one of the possible explanation of الملكين وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت. Now, let's come back. Now, they followed what was spread in the time of Sulaiman. Sulaiman did not commit the kufr, but the shayateen kafaru. They committed the kufr. Why? They were teaching magic. Magic, we don't know its reality. However, it's knowledge. It's totable. Now, plus وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت. Now, we have many narrations. Some of them Israeliyat. Some of them not authentic. Some of them ijtihad, which means the scholars, they were trying to understand from the language of the Quran. One of the possible meanings is the following. The very early beginning of humanity, magic by Satans was spread in Babel as one of the most oldest, well-known civil gatherings for humanity. Satans, the descendant of Iblis, and their master has already announced long time ago, وَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. What was the covenant that Iblis and the oath that he took upon himself against Adam and his offspring? I will mislead them. قال فالحق والحق أقول إن عبادي ليس لك عليهم سلطان إلا من اتبعك من الغاوين. You have no authority, Ya Iblis, upon my slaves except those who decided to follow you. So we have the big master, Iblis, his offspring trying to mislead the people. Part of the misleading in many things, kill, steal, rape, invented magic. They decided to teach it to a group of human beings. Bad, evil people. إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّبَعَكَ. اتَّبَعَكَ means they want. So this group of people, they decided to follow the shayateen. They taught them the magic. Okay? This magic was harmful. I gave you many things. Used like a knife. Knife is from metal. A knife, it can be used to chop, to cut the meat and to cook and to defend yourself, and you can use it for a robbery, theft, and to kill. The same knife, you can use for this and this. So they invented this, whatever, call it, knowledge. They taught, it was spread widely, and according to some narrations, at that time, shayateen plus their followers from the magicians, they're trying to convince the people in general that this magic, this power, this knowledge, we were able to gain from the kawakib, from the planets and stars. So if you worship these gods, you will have the power like us. It's a way of misleading the people. Okay? So the kufr started to spread through this line. So Allah sent two angels in the form of a people to spread the antivirus. Are you with me? Virus, antivirus. So they were having the knowledge of teaching the people how magicians work. Depending on what, but knowing this knowledge, you will be close from this circle. Be careful, don't misuse it. Don't misuse it. Unfortunately, many people, they use this extra knowledge, which tells you about the magic and how to avoid the magic. So, another way of corruption. It's like more or less, I'll give you a simple example. Let's imagine one of the big giant countries, United States, Russia, China, for example. Imagine that, for example, a country like the United States, they have an enemy who's trying to use a big, giant, powerful new weapon which is recently invented. So they designed a special shield to protect and to attack this kind of weapon. So they trained a number of well-trained people from the National Guard, from the CIA, from the FBI. They were well-trained on the new protection system against this. However, they have the secrets of this new system. Is it possible some of them to work with the enemies or to misuse the information? It happens everywhere on earth. You have high-trained officer in the intelligence forces. He knows secrets that could destroy the full country. He knows. He decided to sell this knowledge to the enemy. Is it possible? We call him a spy. And he deserves capital punishment on every country in the earth. True or false? This is the meaning of kafaru. Because they misused the thing. God sent to them this is one of the possible what? Explanation of Al-Malakain Allah sent. Their names Harut and Marut. And they were teaching the people how to understand what is what, how is how. Unfortunately, anyone who came to this power, who knew it, he used this power against the haqq and against the khayr. I will give you a simple example of this to make it very easy for you, logically. What could be the most powerful element in our lives, materialistically? Money! Money is power. How many millions from believers and Muslims might be asking Allah in their prayers when they are not rich yet? Ya Allah, give me money. Ya Allah, I promise you that I will build orphanage. Ya Allah, give me money, I will help all my relatives. Ya Allah, give me money, I will do sadaqah. Ya Allah. When he became a multimillionaire, power. How many multimillionaires they are true good believers close to Allah? How many multimillionaires they do not use their money in drugs or they do not commit haram using their money compared with committed practicing believers of multi-billionaires or millionaires? When the power comes, those who stay fulfilling the covenant are so little. Power. Money is power. Authority is power. Beauty is power. I'm talking about sisters. Wallahi, I'm not joking. Wallahi, beauty is power. That's why it's power. The man has the muscle power, has the decision. He can kill by his hand. So his challenge, according to his power, to lower his gaze with the to control his anger. The woman has another type of power, her beauty, her voice. So that's why she was given special weapon to protect herself from her power, hijab. Wallahi. Subhanallah. I mean, when you think about different types of power, this is not my point. Now, let's continue. At the time of Solomon, at the time of Babel, happened whatever happened. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's go back now. يعلمون الناس السحر وما أنزل على ملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت. Other possible explanation according to the narrations for this. Part of what some of the people of Israel spread against Sulaiman, that the magic was taught to Sulaiman by the two angels, Jibril and Mikael. Part of the false claims against not just the prophets, against the angels. That Gabriel and Michael or Michael, peace be upon both of them, Jibril wa Mikael. It's claimed falsely that these two angels, they were sent with magic to teach Sulaiman. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah is saying the following. They نبذوا وراء ظهورهم, what came to them, and they followed what was spread at the time of Sulaiman. Now we have two negations, نفيان, nafi. You know, you have affirmation, إثبات, and you have negation. Even though وما كفر سليمان وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل, which means what was said that Sulaiman committed the kufr is false. What was said that the two angels, i.e. Gabriel and Michael, that they came with sihr is pure lie and a false news as well. Okay? But how do we understand it? How do we understand يعلمون الناس السحر? يعلمون الناس السحر. From the Nas, the most well-known of the magicians, Harut or Marut. They were the head of the magicians who used to teach the sihr in Babel. By the way, we have this possibility and this possibility, but simply it does not make any difference for us. What I need from you to know the following now. The first most important type of sihr is a knowledge. This knowledge is too dangerous. It is taught by shayateen plus their followers. To know this sihr, you have to commit kufr. You can't approach them. Plus, the other type of sihr, which is mixed with the general type, is dealing with jinn. Because jinn, they invented this, say for example, invention. So it's either just a knowledge or with or both. Now, magicians hardly can deal with magic without jinn. Now pause. Do we believe in jinn? By the way, if you don't believe in the existence of jinn, you commit what? Kufr. Because Allah told us, قُلْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ أَنَّهُ, O Muhammad, say, it was revealed to me that a group of the jinn, they were listening to me, to believe in them as a part of the creation, and we know some information about them, and it's part of the unseen, part of Alam al-Ghayb. We know about them just what Allah told us. Please, can you leave questions when I finish? Inshallah, okay? قُلْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ اسْتَمَعَ نَفَرٌ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَقَالُوا إِنَّ سَمِعْنَا قُرْآنًا عَجَبًا. Now, go and read the chapter of jinn, 2 full pages. What I need from this, وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِّنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِّنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. This ayah say, Allah is telling us part of the discussion and conversation of the jinn themselves. Allah told us, it's part of the ghaib, we know it because Allah told us. Part of what Allah told us in the Quran directly, that's part of what happens in reality. A group of men, look, رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ. So historically, it's exclusive, a criminal job for men. So alhamdulillah, women, they have no problem in this. You see, men always are evil. So don't worry. The problem is not just men, and women. Men, Mashi, alhamdulillah. I'm just addressing some feminists now, okay? Because you don't have any problem, just no, we have problem. Alhamdulillah, men, all magicians are men. That they are kuffar. So, is it good for feminists? If that makes you, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking those behind the scenes, okay? طيب. So, أنه كان رجال من الإنس, men, males from the human beings, يعوذون. You know this word, what does it mean? What we say, أعوذ بالله. Seek refuge. I ask your protection, your help, your backing, your support. So they use, because they believe in them and they want support because they decided to submit themselves to the shaitan. A group, those people, we go back. إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّبَعَكَ من الغاوين. وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم وما كان لي عليكم من سلطان إلا أن دعوتكم فاستجبتم لي فلا تلوموني ولوموا أنفسكم ما أنا بمصرخكم منقذكم وما أنتم بمصرخي إني كفرت بما أشركتمون. Part of what the shaitan will be addressing humanity in the day of judgment. That the only authority and power that I used to have against you is just to call you, just دعوتكم. And those of you, some of you, what? فاستجبتم. He whispers, well, you know, it seems nice. I like it, so I want to do it. Are you with me? So, let's come back. Now, go back to the وَكَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ. They seek, ask refuge, which means help us. The basic condition for the shaitan to help you, to commit kufr. Only basic condition. Regardless of how. Prostrate for a kada, kill something, do whatever. Okay? Through the whispering. طيب. فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. When they seek refuge, thinking that they will have the help, they will enslave them. This is the meaning of لَأَحْتَنِكَنَّ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ. You know al-ihtinak, what does it mean? Now, الحنك شو معناته بالإنجليزي? Jaw? Jaw. J-A-W. Jaw? Jaw. Okay. Now this is the jaw, okay? Now the jaw of the horse or the mule or the donkey, بعيد عنكم جميعا, we use لجام. شو معناته بالإنجليزي لجام؟ تعرفوا اللجام؟ بالعربي. هلو Arabs.
لجام الحصان.
لجام الحصان. شو معنى اللجام بالإنجليزي؟ ولا واحد فيكم يعرفه؟ اللجام. This piece of leather that we control the mouth of the horse with. أعطيني spelling. R. شو؟ Yes. نحطه في بق الخيل ونسيطر عليها. P B R D M D L E. Bridle. Bridle ولا bridle? Bridle. طيب ماشي.
Horse steering wheel.
Excellent. Horse steering wheel. Okay. طيب ماشي. الله يجزيكم خير. Excellent أبو عمر. شفتوا كيف بحل مشكلة؟ This is how engineers. He's an engineer, okay? Civil engineer. Horse steering wheel. Okay. The bridle. Now we control the hanak with it, okay? This is say the hanak of the horse. When you put the bridle, you control it. Once you do it right, it goes right. Left, it goes left. You control this huge, powerful animal through the hanak, controlling the hanak with the bridle. Iblis is saying لَأَحْتَنِكَنَّ ذُرِّيَّتَهُ, which means it's a metaphor that as if I will be riding them, controlling them like animals, telling them right, left, right, left. By the way, do we witness this on some human beings? Fashions. Yes. الموضة احلق بحلق، انفخ بنفخ، احلقي تحلق، انفشي بتنفش، اخلع بخلع، اخزق بخزق. What's this? لا أحتنكن. It's controlling human beings. It's amazing. Very powerful, incredible description. Anyway, now I need you to know, in light of وأنه كان رجال من الإنس يعوذون برجال فزادوهم رهقا. So, all in all, let's combine. Magic is a knowledge, total, plus dealing with jinn. So both we have two items. Magicians, they deal with jinn. You won't be able to deal with jinn unless they guarantee you committing kufr. You will not be able to know the science of sihr or magic unless it is guaranteed that you have committed kufr. So let me give you the glad tidings. If you are a believer, you will not be able to know anything about dealing with jinn or to know the sihr. So don't waste your time, okay? Alhamdulillah. طيب, okay. But the story has not been finished yet. You need to know the rest. This is part of harmful things. طيب. Is it true that the fact that if we have harmful things, the only thing just we know that it does exist and that's it? Or we have some protection ways? طيب. Viruses for us in many cases, harmful or not harmful? Germs. In many cases, harmful. طيب. Do we have a protection systems? Hygienic system? Now, do we, by the way, I'll give you a simple example. Now, generally speaking, be closer from Allah, use the dhikr, such as, why do we believe in al-mu'awwadat? Why we call them al-mu'awwadateen? What is the main idea? What Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us in the Sunnah to keep reading the Ayat al-Kursi and al-mu'awwadateen. قال لا يزال على رأسك ملك يحرسك أو يحرسه من الشيطان حتى يصبح. الزهراوان آل عمران قال من إذا قرأ بيت تقرأ فيه سورة البقرة لا يدخله شيطان. Now let's put some very quickly because of the time. Now this magic has a power. This power might affect me. Protection, shield, be close from Allah. Keep doing your dhikr. Let your dhikr, your recitation for the Quran be your shield, and let your closeness from Allah be in parallel with reality. Don't say something and do something else. Do it on a base of faith. This will form this shield against something you don't know it, but you know how to protect yourself from. Like, is this logic? Yes. How many of you knows exactly everything about viruses? They teach us something, but we don't know nearly anything. But you know, just generally speaking, wear the mask. Cleanse your hands. Use the sanitizers. If you feel whatever in your throat, don't touch anyone. Don't shake hands. Don't hug. Don't share any kind of glasses of food or something. We somehow have to protect, but generally speaking, germs, jarathim. We know that they do exist. Do we see them by our naked eyes? No. We know that they do exist, and we know that they might affect us. Immediately, what we do, generally speaking, we have a hygienic system in our lives. By the way, do you know that part of our budgets in our life goes directly to the cleansing and hygienic system in our lives? We pay a lot of money to wash our clothes and to clean our dishes and to wash our rooms. All of these things, when you put it as materials to be put, it's part of the budget. All of this thing for what? Precaution system, protection against diseases, germs, health problems. Why do we wash vegetables and fruits before we eat them? Protection system for a possible infection or viruses or germs or diseases or whatever. Why do we cook many food even though we can have them without cooking? To enjoy the taste, but one of the basic things, what? Protection against diseases. Even though we don't see viruses and germs, but we believe in their existence, and we know that they are harmful. So let's just deal with sihr and jinn with the same way. Wallah, very simple. They do exist, but be harmful. Many people might be doing hasad and envy and sihr. Let them enjoy their lives. Allah yahdihum. Use your authentic, divinely designed antivirus. and pay the price and have the license. Use a genuine one. Genuine is simply read Surat AlBaqarah, be close from Allah, don't be close from the area of the shaitan. Because shaitan can control you and can affect you and can send his followers to harm you when you are in their area. Don't go to their area. Is it complicated? Wallahi no. Very simple. Very simple. Now, we have just 4 minutes now. At least we know what is magic. You know what's magic now, sir? This is magic. Are you with me? Very simple. Actually, we don't know the reality of magic, but we know that this magic is harmful. We know who use it. We have no idea how they use it with the jinn, but I know how to protect myself from it. Now, inshallah, next week, if we stay alive, I will continue the second part, which is وَمَا يُعَلِّمَانِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ حَتَّى يَقُولَا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ فِتْنَةٌ فَلَا تَكْفُرْ فَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ مِنْهُ وَمَا يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ وَمَا هُمْ بِضَارِّينَ بِهِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ إِلَّا بإذن الله وَلَقَدْ عَلِمُوا لَمَنِ اشْتَرَاهُ مَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ وَلَبِئْسَ مَا شَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. The continuation of this base that we have established today, inshallah, will be next time about the will of Allah. How come Allah allows these things to happen? What's the relation between these possible harmful things, your intention and something, in light of what I have explained? I have just not 5 minutes, because we need to do the adhan. We have just 2 minutes. One question. One question, yes.
Is it haram, after hearing about what you're talking about, would you recommend not to watch magic shows on TV? With the X Factor, some people think they actually are doing black magic on stage. Would you say just to stop watching them altogether? Do you be antivirus like you mentioned?
Not watching? No. Your question, am I recommending not watching these shows?
Yes, completely. Yeah.
Wallahi, I as a person, yes, I do recommend. You know why? Because you know what we say about the normalization, tatbi'? The ilf. The normalization, when we talk about something that we believe is kufr, when we watch it while we are laughing, and, oh nice, you did it, and this is the mix, the concept will be considered as something very normal for us, which is a disaster as a step to something might be more dangerous. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the serious black magic. I'm not talking about the magical tricks. Actually, I prefer if we do not use the word magic with the tricks, because it's a mistake. Just use it حيل وخدع خفة يد. Just use it. شو خفة اليد بالإنجليزي?
Optical illusion. That's what it is.
What is it? مثال اللي عملته المرة الماضية, like this one. What's this?
Yeah.
What I'm doing now? I'm cutting my, you see, like this. It's just optical illusion, خداع بصري. So maybe it's good not to use even magical tricks, because it has nothing to do with magic. Okay? طيب, والله أعلم. Next time we will continue, inshallah. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم. We have just 3 minutes for the إقامة.